Hey YouTubers, Rob here with look at another Commodore 64 shooting game. This time we're looking at Subterranea. I wasn't sure if I had this as a kid, but I think I did. Got it off a magazine cover tape, which for the last few years when I was just using C64 was probably the main source of games. This is a little different kind of like horizontally scrolling shooter. You're not dealing with a lot of enemies here, so it's not really pushing the hardware all that much. It's a lot more environmental. Basic idea is that you have 16 caverns to fly through, blast enemies, get to the end. At the end of each cavern there's a small bonus stage with a guardian, and a timed bonus stage for guardian. Defeat the guardian, and you earn an extra life, and you move on to the next stage. If you don't defeat the guardian in time, you pretty much just move on without the bonus life. One of the things that's very challenging is it's like a lot of precise movement in levels where there are dead ends. They actually tell you if you read the scroll through, there are actually dead ends that you need your shield to avoid. The shield is the only real power up you collect in the game. You have it when you start a new life, it lasts for several seconds, but you also can find pickups in the game. One of the other things is there's also a lot of gates that you need to blast through that turn off temporarily to move through. That out of the way, let's dive in and have a look. So in the first stage, you can see you start with the shield charged up, and as with all lives, some nice colourful graphics and animation here. I kind of like that with the player ship, you can sort of see the gun pulse sort of reloading, if you will. And there's a barrier we've had to fight through. Now here's a barrier we need to deactivate. It's a little C switch. So you shoot that down, and you can move through. I think as I see, the game's got a fairly nice set pace, not entirely frantic. We've blown the gate there and through. And you can sort of see there's some tight maneuvering and poor piloting skills on my part there. And you sort of need to duck through a lot of these little gaps in the stages, line your shot up precisely, get through cleanly. It is definitely the kind of game where you want a really good joystick. Now we're at the first boss. In this case, that's pretty much button mash. You blast the 3 core modules, and you got a minute to do that. Now you're done. Next stage, and pretty much pick up where we left off. So the game follows the same sort of pattern. You know, you'll have the stages are all themed differently, at least as far as I've played in my sort of warm-up play earlier. You can sort of see you have these destructible things guarding little corridors you need to move through, and it's all about this very precise movement. So you're not... So unlike some shooters where it's all about, you know, positioning yourself in the right position to be able to blow the enemies away, this is more about positioning yourself to move through the level cleanly. And sometimes that means if you're dealing with enemies, you need to be ready for how their formations fly in order to not die. So, alright, now you can see this little E pickup. If we get that, that's a shield recharge. Unfortunately, I didn't really demonstrate that, probably because I died before getting it. Which is probably what the thing I find weakest with this game is the levels, like the gaps are a little too tight, and you just need to be very, very active. Now we're on to the next boss. The layout of the targets has shifted slightly, but it's still the same pattern. You know, hit the 3 targets before time limits up, get an extra life, move on to the next stage. So, I mean, from playing it earlier, I felt this is sort of pretty much all the game had to show you. The levels get harder and harder, and where I played to earlier, they felt very tightly moved. Like, I'm not even going to try and get that E because there's no chance I'd actually successfully do it. I mean, all up, the graphics are nice and colourful, they scroll smoothly, as it's, you know, it's a bunch. I mean, at the loading screen when the game was loading, I know this was published by Racket, which is Hewson's budget label, and I think that as a budget price game, I think it did okay. It would have done okay. But yeah, I couldn't see myself paying full price for this back in the day. it does sort of get a little samey after a while. But it's still, like I said, the challenge is more about being able to just avoid everything without dying and knowing the level intelligently and moving about, using the right part of the level to do that. Oh, well, that's game over. Unfortunately, this game doesn't have a high score table. It pretty much just sticks to your high score and your last score. So that's Subterranea. It's not a bad little budget shooter of the C64. It's fun, it's nicely presented, but it's sort of more about avoiding the obstacles of the level layout over the actual shooting down of enemies. So that of course means, if you've got that kind of level design, you need to sort of be adaptive. Start open with more open levels and slowly confine the player in. Work on some good level flow. And I think it does it in bits and pieces. So I think it's an alright game, I think. I'd say it's worth checking out. I wouldn't say it's essential for the C64, but I'd definitely say it's worth checking out. Hope you enjoy that. I look forward to presenting another game in the near future. Thanks.